And I think that what you raised there is an interesting question is around net zero. It's just following on from that. So who do you think should lead on it? Do you think that that should be people like yourself with that desire and hope inside to sow a seed that enables someone to start something that grows into something fantastic?
Yeah.
It's almost like a garden show, isn't it, that we're talking about here with these seeds and things growing. But
Yeah.
or is it someone like government that have to mandate things in legislation to make sure that change happens, or that net zero as an example? So where do you think that should be led, and where do you think it is actually at the moment being led from?
Ooh, double-edged question. I think the most important thing here is that the industry shouldn't wait. And I've seen this when I've been to various COPs, where there's an expectation that there will be, a puff of white smoke, and there will be some kind of regulation which will set the direction for the industry. Yeah. We don't have time to do that. Yeah.
So it was kind of COP26 was.
COP26
I know
in
there was a
Glasgow,
kind of build like that, wasn't it? That after COP26,
yeah,
like you're saying, that the white smoke is going to rise.
Yeah, didn't happen.
The anointed one's going to come, and we're all going to be saved.
Yeah, but there was really series of interesting conversations in the green zone, which is the public zone, which is, look, we, the industry, need to act. We understand that we're not, or we haven't driven the change we need to at the speed we need to. There is not going to be any magic legislation. There is now more and more research which is telling us the impact of the sector, and the sectors, I suppose. And actually, it's the industry that needs to grab this task. It's the professionals within the industry that needs to actually move the dial. Because actually, that's where change will happen. So to answer your question directly, I think it's the industry setting its own pace of change. And it's the organizations, the architects, the materials manufacturers that need to innovate and demonstrate what good looks like, which is where we need to be. If we're waiting for regulations and legislations to come and move the floor up in terms of what is required, then I think we're going to be disappointed. And I know we don't want to get political, but we've seen some of that, as we head towards an election. So it is the industry that really needs to go, right, we need to work together. And maybe we need to work with other sectors where there are other examples of best practice to actually make things happen. So there is no magic bullet, and everybody who's listening to your podcast has a role and responsibility to drive change. And if you get it right, and I say this to a lot of people, sometimes being more sustainable than regulation can be seen to be a burden. Actually, it can be a market advantage. It can drive value. It can sort of drive out inefficiency. It can make better environments. There are lots and lots of positives on that kind of balance sheet now. So that the language has to change, and it's about organizations thinking about what is a better business model, a better way of working. And I kind of, the examples I often talk about, when I start to look at the way the industry is changing in terms of providing products to providing services, is a clear demonstration how they need to invest in the future. So rather than saying, well, what HVAC system do you need on your building? You need to ask the question, what temperature do you need? I will find the most efficient service, and I will maintain and operate that service for you for all the life of that building. So I'm actually optimizing all the time in the best possible way. That's a change in thinking. It's a change in business model. It's also an improvement on efficiency. You can do that for lots of components within the built environment, be it the soft furnishings in terms of floorings and coverings, the lighting systems, the heating systems. It's about realizing that the business models will change over time. Buildings will change over time. So we need to make sure that as we design them very differently, because they might have different uses in that time period. I remember working with one of the BREEAM assessors in Greece, who designed a building which was an office, and because of the economic climate in Greece, just didn't rent, didn't sell, didn't rent. So he decided, well, it's okay because I've designed it in a way that is a very strong shell and core. I'll turn it into a hotel. So they convert it into a hotel.
Just
Pivot. And that, in the built environment, in our urban sort of spaces, we are really going to need to think about what is the primary purpose of that building, what is it designed to do, but what might it do in the future, and how do we design a way that allows that flexibility, that adaptability? Because who knows what a part of the urban space is going to look like in 50 years' time.